Do you think smack this said Joey do something? I'll put a comment there.
He's giving it all he's got.
Eric says, do you think either dropping me or dropping?
Alright, I think it might be live.
All right. Can you see me? Can you hear me? We'll give it just a moment here. Looks like we are live now. We're back. All right. Well, looks like everyone left. So you guys are gonna get a private treat today. Unfortunately, with the technical issues, we will not be able to have Ron with us. He lives in Ohio, so I don't know exactly what the issue was, but looks like there were some internet issues. All right. So we'll give it just a moment here. Looks like we got 17 people watching. Oh, okay. That was your phone. Like, what is that? Send in another alert that you are back. Joey, should we do that or?
I'll see if Clay wants to.
Yeah, because I know we don't like to do too many alerts in one day. But Janice, yeah, we might be sending another alert. We just gotta get the okay. We just don't like to flood you guys with a lot of alerts. But it looks like the number is going back up. So it looks like some people making their way back into the room here. Ryan AI can send out the alert. Yeah, it's all about that Ryan AI, right? All right, what about today, though? Inflation data coming out, and look at the major indices, all in positive territory. All of them are showing some momentum to the upside. Even the small caps, looking at the VectorVest composite here, up 1.2%. It is leading the charge along with the Dow Jones at 1.3% right now. People went away to put less strain on the network. Yeah, I'm not really sure what happened there. The internet's been a little finicky lately. All right, but as we take a look at the homepage here, you can see we got 3 green lights right now. Market timing gauge bullish. VectorVest advocates buying safe, undervalued stocks that are rising in price at this time. Even gold stocks are going up. Look at this. You see minus touch here. These are momentum plays, most of them being gold. Look at the follow through in gold today as well. We're going to take a look at the news stories because I'm not sold on today's market optimism. Let's see here. All right, first story I got up. Consumer prices rose at an annual rate 2.9% August as weekly jobless claims jump, right? Now, the rate, it went up 0.2% from the prior month. So we were at 2.7. We are now at 2.9, right? We're getting further away from the Fed's objective, the mandate for the inflation, right? It's one of that's why they're in this tussle right now. Should we get rates? Should we not get rates, right? So I see this kind of as a double-edged sword. It ticked up, right? We're closer to 3%. I see that was their projection. Yeah, Seth, that was their projection. It doesn't mean it was a good projection. It's just projecting that inflation is still going up. This data here is telling me that, hey, probably not the best idea for interest rate cut. But the jobs revisions, that was a big number. Was it close to 1 million jobs there? Yeah, so we'll see what happens, what the Fed decides here. But I don't like this inflation ticking back up. Right, that's not what I want to see. Yeah, Seth, not at all. But yeah, just because it's a projection doesn't mean, right? It didn't come in hotter than expected because it came in as expected, but it's still hot, right? So I just wanted you to know, hey, the market's rallying right now. I'm not too sold on it. If you want to play it to the upside right now, I'm not going to go against the market. But this data in general has me a little cautious going forward. Let's see here. Close this out. Oh. Me neither. That's why I don't know why the market's going so crazy over it. Yeah, I'm just curious, why? Maybe just because the job data is in. The market, maybe it baked in. 2.9 sounds a lot better than 3%, right? I imagine if that inflation data said 3% or 3.1, I wouldn't be shocked if the market fell then. And if it did still rise, I'd be very cautious of that, right? Why am I getting ads on the live stream? They do have ads on the live stream, Smack This. I know it's set to like the most minimum setting for the ad stream, or for the ads for the live stream here. Now, other than the consumer CPI data coming out, I thought this was an interesting article. Look at this. Trump's pressure on Europe to slap 100% tariffs on India and China raises eyebrows, right? So now he wants the allies, the Western allies, to team up and put pressure on, China and India. And I mean, just logically thinking about it, I would think that would be a good idea for Europe to do, just because Europe essentially is funding the war in Ukraine by, making deals with India, and India and China are just buying the oil from Russia anyways. So I don't know. It's a big mess, but I see 100% tariffs here on India and China. We'll see. I mean, the market doesn't really seem to mind it as of today. I have a feeling they're probably just brushing this off, if I had to guess. Now here's another one. Microsoft, a once in a generation opportunity that won't last. Now, Microsoft's corporation is rapidly transforming into an AI powerhouse with proprietary models and strategic partnerships fueling long-term growth and independence, right? Think about it. They were one of the backers of ChatGPT. And this is why I really want to like this article here. The Nebius Group deal secures critical AI infrastructure at predictable costs, reducing capital risk and ensuring Microsoft remains competitive in AI development, right? So not only is Microsoft going to be a big player in the AI space, but their partnerships, right? Nebius Group, obviously Microsoft's going to be the safer bet. It's a Mag 7 company. If you want a bit more risk in your portfolio, it would be NBIS, right? It was like a $17 billion deal. And when I did the video, was it earlier this week? Their revenue last year was like 106 million. So think about it. You're going from 100 million to potentially several billion each year. So that's why that's why I'm bullish on the stock in general. EU refused. They want FTA with India. Okay, I'm not too surprised that EU's bucking back on that. They haven't really been a big fan of the tariffs since the beginning. Don't blame them. My viewing got interrupted just now by an ad for gold bullion. Well, Tabula, did you get you some gold on that ad? You know me, I like gold. It's probably why they're popping up with gold ads, right? Because I talk about buying gold so much. I think it's just a smart move, right? As long as we got tariffs in the news, physical debt not getting any better of a situation, gold is thriving under that situation. Now, here's a stock that's gaining some momentum, even some more momentum here. Open up 67% here. Open Door named formerly Shopify executive Kaz as CEO. So they're having the Shopify executive as the CEO now for Open Door. You can see investors are enthused about that decision, up 67%. Now, former CEO Kerry Wheeler resigned last month following a pressure campaign from investors, right? So investors are getting enthused now that there's some more leadership when it comes to Open Door. Alex says, hey, Ryan, MU to the moon. Yes, I like MU. Actually, there's a couple consultants on the support floor here talking about MUU, the double leveraged one. In my opinion, I like it. But from a trade perspective and an investment perspective. Obviously, MUU is going to be a little bit more volatile in nature from the investment perspective, so you may not necessarily want that, maybe for more of the trade. Is it too late to get in Open? Alfredo, we'll take a look at the chart, and we'll see. We'll take a look at the chart, and we shall see. What happened to Oracle? Is it now a meme stock? It seems like it's almost a meme stock, right? Oh, speaking of Oracle, here's the article right here. Oracle leaving very little room for disappointment from here, right? They got everyone hyped up. I'm talking so hyped up. Y'all saw it. The stock was on, 60% in a day? Whoo! Oracle's corporation AI infrastructure growth is driving unprecedented revenue backlog and market enthusiasm, which multi-year RPO ramping up to an incredible $455 billion. It's all about strategic partnerships and multi-cloud database moat position, right? They are a leader in the cloud space. With the market quickly pricing in the significant outlook, given the share surge, I urge investors to think not just twice, but thrice when thinking about adding Oracle stock today. I'm kind of in that boat. You know, I think a lot of that premiums got baked in. I mean, we'll see. We'll take a look at the stock, but it is up quite a bit here. I know it's definitely over the VectorVest valuation, so we'll take a look at it here. Next story here. This is one I thought was interesting. This affects pretty much everybody in the AI space. You got here, right in the article or the headline here: Google, Meta, OpenAI, XAI, Snap. They're all facing the same problem. FTC probe, Federal Trade Commission probe, right? That's all has to do with AI chatbot safety for kids, right? And I think this is just going to be the beginning of legislation on AI as far as security, personal reasons, but child safety for AI. Definitely get why they're doing that here. You can see here, since the launch of ChatGPT 2022 has brought in a new era of chatbots, right? We all talk about chatbots here. Federal Trade Commission Thursday is now issuing orders to 7 companies and to understand how their AI chatbots potentially negatively affect children and teenagers, right? Interesting. But yeah, protecting kids is an online top priority. But yeah, I thought this was pretty interesting. This legislation is going to help shape AI going forward. Now, the last thing I have for you today, just in case you missed it, we are doing the 2-day investment seminar that is next weekend, next Saturday, next Sunday. If you can't, join in person, you can check it out on YouTube. If you want to go, if you want to check it out, even if it's just, on YouTube, just go to vectorvest.com/Vegas. All the information is there, all the links, the agendas, the hotel information. So everything you need is going to be right there. But if you do have any additional questions, do not hesitate to contact support. We definitely can answer anything that you may have here. All right, let's get it back into the software here. Last night I was looking at the top moving industries, checked out telecom fiber optic space, found a stock CIEN, and looks very good on your layout. Alex, I love fiber optic companies. I did a video on fiber optic companies probably towards the beginning of the year. Didn't get many views on it. It's probably why I haven't, go back to it. But it's a hot spot. I mean, everyone thinks that internet traffic, data, it's all through the satellites. That's not the case at all. I think it's been a while since I've done the video, but I think it was like 80% roughly of data traffic is still through fiber optic cables, especially the international ones, right? That go, under the seas, under the oceans. But definitely still some opportunity there. You can see it's, I don't have the top RT industries here. But Alex has pointed out CIEN, good stock to have on your radar. Smack this. Is that available on the cell phone? What do you mean? Ryan, good call on FMCC. Hey, that was the VectorVest stock here. If I go to the viewers tab, go to stock viewer, I'm pretty sure that's where I got that one from. Maybe one. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, Federal Home Mortgage. Look, up another 11%. Holy moly. Let's take a look at this guy. Because I did that video, about 2 weeks ago? Look at that value and that price climb, baby. I hope that you guys got it. Now, that's a good stock right there. That value climbing, that price action climbing. Even after all this momentum to the upside, the stock is still undervalued. Look at the forecasted data. Yeah, FMCC, I do remember that one now. That's a good stock. That is definitely a good stock. All right, let's get back to watch list viewer. Let's take a look at the stocks here today. All right, here's the list I got for you. We got Google, Oracle, Meta, Open, Microsoft, CoreWeave, and Snap. These are all the stocks from the articles. Look at Open, up 67%. Whew, look at our valuation, 77 cents. This is a meme stock, right? This is a meme stock. Oracle, it's jumped up quite a bit. It's down, what, 7% right now. We valued at 170. The stock's at 305. As far as the earnings growth rate, not bad numbers in the batch here. The lowest one's 6%. That's going to be Snap. But yeah, a mixed bag here. Let's take a look at the charts, see what the opportunities might be. Here's Google. I like Google. I mean, look at it. It's one, we'll have to look at it again, but it's one of the most undervalued Mag 7 stocks, if not the most undervalued. Look at the trend, look at value, look at the forecasted data. Not bad numbers at all. I really like Google. If you're looking for any kind of pullback on Google, maybe if you got some patience here, might want to retest this prior swing high here, maybe fill the gap, but that's probably later down the road. Doesn't look like it's moving in that direction at this time. So I'm still going to be bullish on Google. Here's Oracle. Look at that. Bearish engulfing. Yeah, I'm going to go with that guy in the article, the analyst. All that, AI, hype, it just got baked into the price that same day. I mean, it went from less than 250 to 350. We only value the stock at 170. This is not a momentum stock I'm going to ask you to chase. Now, if you bought into it after the gap, well, we have a bearish engulfing candlestick quite a bit. We got a big gap fill down here. If it doesn't fill the gap, you might find a level support here around 262. That's where I would start, getting interested in Oracle. Otherwise, I am not going to be in the boat of chasing this guy. I'm just not going to do it. As far as forecasted data, looks good. Just all that premium was just baked into the price after this big gap up. So not surprised to see some profit taking. You got a big upper wick here. Now you got a big body candlestick today to the downside and still currently trading at session lows. Here's Meta Platforms. Again, just like Google, one of the undervalued Mag 7 stocks. I like Meta quite a bit here. And you can see Meta value on the rise. Price action on the rise, buy ratings coming in, RT relative timing actually making a turnaround as well. The trend is in the favor of the bulls right now. RT coming in at 1.04. Not a lot of magnitude behind that favor, but there is favor for the bulls right now. Earnings per share is rising. Growth rate, sales growth rate, mixed, but great numbers. I mean, look, 20, 22% respectively. Great numbers for this position. Now, here's Open Door. I'm talking about Open Door. Look. It broke above this channel here. If you want to chase that, that is on you. But this is the advice I gave before the big jump up here. Is this ascending channel? You can see it broke above it. No follow through the next day. And then we just got a gap up. And what I do like about this gap here is it gapped up above this high at 731. So there was no resistance. This thing has just been running. So now let's go back in time and let's just see if we got any data points we can go off of here. I'm already going to see right here resistance. This is where my resistance. That's a lot of resistance coming in. 13, 14 bucks somewhere in there. About 13.41 to 14. Right now we're at 10.20. This thing might just take off a little bit more. So you're asking me about if you missed open. I mean, you got to ask yourself if you're okay with that trade because that's a fast-moving, high-flying stock there. But me personally, I mean, we've already blown through this little pivot stuff here. So probably somewhere in here is resistance. I mean, either way, that's still a lot of room to the upside. We're trading at 10.18 right now. Let's go to the intraday chart, see what we got. That just keeps going up, up, and up. I like it. Cannot lie. But yeah, that's full momentum there. I see a little bit more room up before we get any kind of resistance, right? That doesn't mean that I got a crystal ball and that's what's going to happen. I think that sucker could come down right down, at the end of the today. Who knows? But as long as price action staying above this channel here, which we're well above it now, I'm looking more towards back here to find some resistance. So if you're in it, yes, me personally, I think it's probably going to go up a little bit more here. But this is a very volatile position. You don't have a crystal ball? No, Alfred, unfortunately, I don't. If I had a crystal ball, trust me, I would probably be on a little sailboat down in the Caribbean, just chilling. When was the Ryan MCC memo. It was a video, and I think it was in like 2 or 3 different 6 p.m. videos. It wasn't a live stream. We talked about it. It was one of the videos. And then the pick, even though I did the video of it, I got to give credit to the VectorVest 7 system. That's how I found that stock. It was a top VST stock. So I either used top VST or maybe some kind of unisearch spin, and that's how I found it. All right, let's see what we got here. Open door, more room to the upside, I see. Microsoft, that's a big pullback here. I can't get behind Microsoft right now. I'd be more in the protecting profits stage. Because honestly, you could probably see a level of support here. If we got any kind of severe pullback, this is where I would look for support around 467 to about 554. You can see RT has gone unfavorable right now. One thing I do like, the stock, it jumped up here trading at a premium, but look at value. Ever since that gap up, value has been ticking up as well. So even though the stock is overvalued, I do like the life I see in value. Now, earnings per share is rising, growth rate's rising, sales growth rate on the rise, 16, 18% respectively. Not as good as numbers as Meta. And it's overvalued, but still, if I'm looking for a deal on Microsoft, as of right now, we're just, literally just trending below this 20-day EMA. So I'm not going to jump in right this second. But if we get any major drop, this week probably might be able to scoop up. Microsoft had a good deal here, 467, 455. I don't know when this is going to occur, but if value keeps this uptrend, this trajectory here, what was that? May, June, July, August, September. So 5 months. So if it keeps this trajectory in about 5 months, valuation would be close to price action right now. But, we'll see how that happens. But I like Microsoft overall. It's definitely a good play. Just not right now. Here's CoreWeave. CoreWeave. I talked about this with you guys. I said, hey, right coming off this pivot, I said the whole play is going to be taking profits at this line here, right? You got descending channel. Take profits here. Now, if you get a break above this descending channel, you can probably get some short-lived high momentum, right? Get a couple extra bucks out of the trade. But as of right now, it's looking like a little bit more on the rejection side than the breakout side. Again, I don't have a crystal ball, but it's a descending channel. Just play it accordingly. And right now we're at the top of the channel, so I'm not going to advocate buying CoreWeave at the top of a descending channel. That would just be dumb. Not being smart. Give yourself a little bit of confirmation there. At least get price action above the channel. Get a close above there or something. MTI at 1.42 follows more upside. Yeah, MTI is creeping back up. But again, 1.42 means we could get into the 1.5s and 1.6s potentially relatively quick, right? By next week, we could even be there. There's some optimism in the market. And that's telling us that the market's getting a little on the overbought side, right? It can indicate that the market can get a little choppy at these levels. And typically, if you're going to take profits, usually you want the MTI around 1.5, 1.6, to think about start taking profits, right? Prematurely, before, hits your stop price. But yes, definitely keep your eye on the MTI going forward. Here is Snap. Snap is just a low, it's just trending to the downside. There's a gap here, but unless we break this high, which is around 763, unless price actually get above that, I'm not going to be interested in this trade here. Stock's overvalued right now. Forecasted data all on the decline, so can't get too excited about Snap. All right. What is it? 232 here. Well, I'm trying to think here because we're initially going to have an options, demonstration with Ron. So I think to celebrate, because we got the Las Vegas event next week, let's just do 20 stock picks from the customer. I won't even go off the likes. Just the first 20 stocks. Put them in the comment section as of now. And look, I like you guys. You guys are waiting for me to actually tell you. I like that. Just throwing them in there. But yeah, first 20 stocks. Let's break them down here. First one, interesting. IREN. MU, yep. Nail, okay. Is Nail the bullish or bearish one? All right, let's get these through here. UAMY, nice. The rare earths, I'll take a look at that one as well. All right, let's see here. CIN, okay, that one's in there. David, thank you for that. Said you're the man. We got GEV. Andy. Andy's not in there. Eric, what did you mean by Andy? Do you mean AMDY, the yield max of AMD? I think that's what you mean. Eric, is that what you're talking about? Are you talking about AMDY, the yield max? All right, let's skip that one for now, but if you respond, I will put that in there. All right, we got light. CIEN is already in there. We got Cisco, CSCO, Tech, ANET. Okay. Ether. You know, I like me some Ether. Serve. What's this one here? Might be the last one. PSIX. $17. Alex says bullish. Let's see here. AMPX. FEIMINOD. All right, that's 20. And then that's 20. Amir, we just talked about CoreWeave. It's at the top of a descending channel right now, showing me a little bit of rejection. So again, it's at the top of a descending channel with rejection in the mix. So I'm not going to be bullish on that one, Amir. If it breaks out above that ascending channel, you could probably get some really good short-term momentum, you know, maybe for a couple days. Neil's UAMY. I did add UAMY. I thought I did. Yeah, because that was definitely in the... Well, I guess you guys are getting 21 because I forgot to put in that one. All right. 21s it is. 21s it is. All right. All right. GXAI. Neil, we'll do that. We did a video on that one recently as well. I still like GXAI. And I think it went right into my buy opportunity around the mid-dollar range, $1.50. So let's see here. Actually, before we do that... You know me, I like to play this game. What's the safest stock here? Safest stock in the list. Arista. Interesting. What else we got here for safety? RMBS, Rhombus, INOD, Micron, CIN. These are the safest stocks in the list here. If we take a look. Let's go to 25. Get that 21st stock. The riskiest stock? The Galaxy. I'm not surprised by that. You can see, look, up 10% here. Okay, it's back with $1.69. We value at $2.07. It's an AI stock undervalued. That's why I want it on your radar. I mean, it's definitely worth having, you know, paying some attention to. Look at UAMY holding its ground, still in the 450s here. Very nice. All right, let's take a look at growth rate earnings. We found the safest and the riskiest stock. UAMY, look at that, 48%. Oof, the stock looks good right now. And actually, I'm going to add AREC. This is another rare earth critical mineral play stock that I talk about quite a bit here. Growth rate 45. See the negatives here. Negatives going to be Serve, -6. And then Tech is the lowest one in the list here, -7. Speculative stock here, RVRS well below 1 is going to be a technical trade, momentum trade here, buy rating still in effect. So let's take a look at these stocks here. Let's get through them. UAMY, I do like that value jumping back up, continuing to climb, hitting another new high when it comes to valuation here. I mean, you can see the buy opportunities. The good buy opportunities usually come around the 20 to 40-day moving average. But overall, the stock's moving lower left, upper right. This is what started it all back here, this descending channel. Once it broke out of this, I've been making videos on this stock quite a bit here. I was at around about 80 cents, and now it's almost $5. Just be careful. It's going to be volatile. It's going to be, affected by news with China and tariffs and, all that good stuff. So you're going to see volatility, but overall, still a great trade here. It looks phenomenal. Here's INOD. Look at this. We broke out I mean, getting a lot of momentum right at our valuation here. You can see the momentum is there, surpassing the prior swing high. We're now coming up to the 12-month high here. But RT relative timing, 1.85. The forecasted data, not shabby, all rising actually. Sales growth rate outpacing earnings, 79% compared to 45%. Phenomenal stock to have on your radar. A lot of momentum right now. And hey, if you don't want to chase that momentum, or buy a stock when it, pretty much jumped 50% in the last week, hey, I don't blame you. Let the dust settle. Let the trade make sense, right? Doesn't mean you can't put in a watch list. Keep your eye on it in the future. And if you are a high momentum trader, hey, you see the momentum there. Here's AMSC, American Superconductor. But look at this. Accumulation around that 40-day. Nice body candlestick above the 20-day EMA. Trend coming back in the favor. Earnings, 40%, 80% respectively. This is a great stock. I mean, and look at this. This is just a perfect cup here. Got a little dip, little handle, and then broke the handle to the upside. So if I just, I've done this before here. If I do a freehand line, it's about right here. So yeah, it's already hit the target of the cup. So I would, be careful on it. It's had a big run. Be careful on it. That's all I'm going to say. If it drops much below that 40, or it's definitely below 44, I would get a little bit more defensive on it, because that is a key level support I see here going forward. Now here is FEIM. This is Frequency Electronics. I mean, look at this. Smooth, lower left, upper right. The value on this thing doing the same thing here. And value is ticking. It is rocking and rolling here. Coming at 51.62. The stock's only trading at 33.93. And looking at the forecasted data, GRT 38%, sales 28%. This is a good stock to have on your radar. I mean, this is a phenomenal stock here. It's in telecom, cellular. So if you're trying to diversify, look for some good stocks. Hey. But yeah, looks good overall here. I will say, just looking at this chart, not overthinking it, but if you got some patience, that 40-day is typically the good time to potentially get in this position here. It's been a good accumulation point the last several touches. Here is Micron. Look at Micron go. It's now in the 150s. Woo! I had a feeling this thing was going to go. Look at that. Value is well over $220. That was $229. The forecasted data, phenomenal. This is my stock. I've been talking about this stock forever. That's why I got all these little lines on here and stuff. I've been talking about, wait for the breakout of this. Broke out, resistance. I mean, this is a perfect textbook setup for, a bullish trade setup. I've been talking about it for a while, and you can see him in the stock went from what 120 now to 160. Big move there. Big move. UAMY was a Glenn pick. No, Michael, the rare earths, that was me. Glenn was doing quantum around that time. I don't know if you guys remember that. It was about November, December. He was big in the quantum. I did the rare earths, and I joined him in the quantum just because a lot of people are interested in quantum stocks. But yeah, no, UAMY is a good one. He has done some videos on some other rare earths, some other plays, but that wasn't really an area that he touched on too much. Just to heads up. This reminds me of AMD back 9 months ago, undervalued. Alex, this reminds me of AMD and NVIDIA that was undervalued. Remember when NVIDIA and AMD were under $100 and the values are 151? I said it every day on this channel. I said buying either one of these under $100. Probably not a bad idea. I've said that quite a few times. That would have been beginning of this year. And they were in descending channels, right? So obviously you want to see some confirmation of it breaking above the descending channel. Whoops. But Micron, this is a beautiful chart overall. I like everything I see here about this. Yeah, it's overextended today. I mean, look how far extended it is from the 20-day. I'm not going to chase it right now. I've been talking about it back here. This was the entries. If you chasing them, especially with that big upper wick, you could probably be setting yourself up for some pain, Here's IREN. This is a crypto company I did a video on a couple weeks ago about, utilizing these crypto firms for AI data centers, since they already have a lot of the infrastructure in place. You see the stock just rocket and roll it here. Now it's at $33. Forecasted data, 37, 171. Even value, look at here. I would have been concerned, right? No life and value, a little tick here. But now look at the value really starting to tick up here with price action. I do like that. Now, am I going to chase it this far away from the 20-day or 40-day? Maybe for a quick day trade or something if the chart makes sense. But no, I want this to come back closer to this 20-day or 40-day before I would think about getting into this position. Here is Lumentum Holdings. Again, another position seeing some life finally coming back into place here. The value was for about $20. Now it's almost to $100. The stock's at 162. You can see the gap up. Yesterday had some follow through. Today, not much follow through there, right? I do like what I see here with this position. You can maybe use Star Search since there's a lot of momentum on this stock. So maybe use something like, Star Search. I don't know what your plan was, but if you bought this as an investment, at $60 and now it's at 160, what was your goal at the end of the day, right? You gotta ask yourself that. But don't let all these profits evaporate. One thing I do like about this, look at this big jump up in value and the forecasted data, 34, 56%. Hey, I don't mind that at all. That's good. It's just a little overextended for me. That's all. I'm not going to be chasing it. Neil said you made a great short on UAMY. Perfect setup. I made 100% on a call. Thanks, Ryan. You're awesome. Thank you, Neil. Hey, that's what I do. That's literally my job is to help you guys trade. Give you some trade setups and your put some things on your radar. We were tracking 9,700 stocks. Hell, I can't even keep up with all the stocks, right? So I know, good luck trying to keep up with all these stocks. And if you can, more power to you. PSIX, this looks like a good accumulation period here. Price action getting back above the 20-day EMA. Hey, this big run here, I would be a lot more concerned, but look at value. Value is actually outpacing this momentum that we're seeing here. Stock's undervalued right now. So this I see is a good play. Growth rate 33%, sales 74%, rising earnings per share on the forecasted side. I like it. Here is BORMF. This is Borealis Mining Company. I've never heard of this one. Look at that big upper wick, though. Woo! Now, one thing I do like, anytime I see a stock, under $1, under $2, I mean, pretty much we're talking penny stocks here, right? Anytime I see those undervalued or have life in value, like we're seeing here, undervalued, life in the value, I like this. I know it's a penny stock. It's not going to be for everybody. But the moving averages in our favor. RT's in our favor. The forecasted data, 29.0, not bad. Earnings per share is rising. Yeah, it's an undervalued stock. I like it overall. There's not a whole lot of price action to come off of. But in general, I do like it. I don't know about these upper wicks. It could be just because it's a penny stock. I do find it interesting that those upper wicks stop right at our valuation. So, but interesting stock. But yeah, any stock that anytime I see a stock, a couple pennies up to $2, and if it's undervalued, that automatically is going to grab my attention because as you guys and gals know, our valuation is pretty stringent. Pretty stringent, right? I bought UAM off a video that Glenn did, as I remember. He thought it could be a triple. Yeah, no, Glenn actually bought some UAMY off of the video I did. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He did do a video or two of it, but it wasn't like something that he really, talked about a whole lot. He was mostly doing a lot of defense, a lot of energy, a lot of uranium. There are currently over 4,300 ETFs in the U.S. as of late August 2025, a number that has surpassed the total number of U.S. stocks. Really? That's interesting. Very interesting. Now here's Wix. Wix, like I said, you can see a detrending trend line here. As soon as it broke it, it's been off to the races ever since. So what am I going to do? I'm just going to put another trend line on this side now. As long as price action stays above that trend line, hey, I'm in it. And if I'm looking for a nice entry point, it's probably when price action retests this trend line at some point going forward. Hasn't done a retest on it in the past few candlesticks. But Wick, with the RT going back above 1 here, this is showing me that this could actually have some room to run. And look at the valuation, $210. Not a bad valuation here. Forecasted data, not too shabby, 27, 12%. I like it. Not a bad stock at all. But you can see, the opportunity there is what it broke the trend line. And you can see I was looking at that before. Here's AREC. Look at the valuation. Still not coming back. We talked about this before. It dropping here. Look at 212. I've been saying this. Was it 196? You need price action to stay above 195 to really be optimistic for the bulls. And it is now. My only caveat here, my only concern with AREC, I just want to see that value tick back up. If that value goes right back to where it was, hey, that's good. But if earnings per share, a value doesn't come back, might be bigger problems down the road for this company. Here's Arista Networks. Look at this. Nice move. Big upper wick today. I'm not going to be a buyer of it today. A little overextended for my liking. RT above 1. Overvalued. Forecasted data. Not shabby at all. We got 22, 30% respectively. Sales growth rate outpacing earnings. That's always a plus. Let's see here. Here's AMPX. I'm sticking to the technicals. No life in the value here. Forecasted data is actually phenomenal. 21%, 383. Back above the 20-day EMA. Fresh buy rating. I like exactly what I see here. I do see resistance about right here, which is right where that wick is coming from now, 814. So, yeah, I just want to see price action. Stay above 814, right where the breakout is from this pennant. That's where I'm seeing rejection here as a level of resistance. Here's GXAI. This is a little. So, yep, there's the pennant here, right? That's why I said, if you have to pay. Well, I did the video this day when it jumped up. I'm not going to lie. And then went up to $3. But I said that the entry price you want to get here is around $1.50, mid-dollar range. And you can see, look at this. We're hitting resistance now at that 183 level. So if we get too much rejection here, hey, come back to it later. But I really want to get price action back above this. So we see RT still climbing up. So I don't think the stock is quite done yet. We shall see. Growth rate earnings 21%. Sales growth rate maxed out at 999. I like it. Here's RMBS. A big day with it. Big body here. Retracing from session highs. The high came in at 89.98. We're currently back down to 87.82. Big move to the upside, though. So let's take a look at the forecasted data here. Earnings per share is rising. Growth rate, sales, mixed bag. But the numbers are good. 18%, 30%. I like it. Not bad. Let's go to 6 months here. Yeah, that's nice. It's definitely overextended today. I'm not going to, chase it too much. If I am looking for a nice pivot point, it's probably going to be around this high here. So if you do see price action come back, maybe look around 82 for a pivot to enter. Here's RTX. Price action on the rise. Value on the rise. The only thing I don't like, look at RT slipping back below 1. The trend is neutral right now. Price action pretty range bound, trying to find pick which direction it wants to go. Forecasted data is good, 18, 19%. Rising earnings per share. I like it overall, but again, the stock is just in its own way right now. If we take a look here, so we broke above this little channel, we broke below this little channel. So we got to really pick a direction. Let's get outside this range here of 152 to 158 before making too many decisions. Now here is CIN, Sienna Corp. Look at that value. Big tick up in valuation with the gap up here. Earnings per share, nice tick up. Forecasted data, 8 and 29%. I like this stock. Let's see here. Cisco. Look at this. Cisco's undervalued now. Stock's always been trading at a premium, but look at the value catching up to price action here. We value the stock at $69.36. Currently trading at $67.59. RT relative timing, though, looks like the trend may be of a concern for the bulls here in the near future. Earnings per share is ticking up. Growth rate in earnings is ticking up. Sales growth rate faltered a little bit. Still coming in at 8%. Not too shabby. Here's Ethereum. I like Ethereum, and I kind of like this 20-day EMA. This might be a good entry price here if you want to accumulate some more Ethereum. But we're still bullish. Lower left, upper right overall. Here is Nail. This is Home Builders. So look, buy recommendation here. You can see a lot of pivots around this 20-day EMA. So the closer you get into that 20-day EMA, the better. As well, if we take a freehand line, does look like we're getting some resistance right at this level here. So every time we get up there, probably not a bad idea. Take some profits off the table. Here is Serve. Serve actually looks pretty good. We got this upper wick going, so that follow through not quite coming to fruition. Overvalued forecasted data. Actually, all three of them are faltering here. -6, 37% respectively. I can't get that enthused behind this position. Now, here's the last stock today. We've got Tech Resources is mining other. Big bullish candlestick today. We do see some resistance here in the near future coming into play. Probably about right here, if I had to guess. Yep, that's right where we're seeing this upper wick form. So I'm going to treat this like a zone. If I'm looking for confirmation, I want to get above $42 and some change. Otherwise, we get some rejection here. We got a big gap to fill. So I don't know when you got in this position, but protect profits if an upper wick starts forming here, especially with some follow through come tomorrow. All right, everybody. Yeah, NVTS and NBIS have a 2 times ETF now. I feel like there are ETFs on everything. So I'm not surprised by that. And now I see Rick just put a comment there. There's 4,300 ETFs in the U.S. It has now surpassed the total number of U.S. stocks. That's crazy, Rick. I have to look that up and see. I've got an ETF speech in Las Vegas next weekend, so I'm going to look that up and see. And if so, I might incorporate that in some of the, the lecture I give. I am with you about AREC value. Yeah, Troy. Just like UAMY, one of the things that really pointed me to UAMY in that space was the value opportunity, right? And how quickly value is rising. AREC, I saw that same chart pattern, but all of a sudden, we all saw value just drop like a rock, earnings per share drop like a rock. I'm hoping it's what would you call that? What would you call that? I'm stunned for words. Like a mishap. But, we'll see. But now that it's been a couple days and value hasn't gone back up, that does have me concerned, Troy. That does have me concerned. Tabula, some great stock picks today, team. Yeah, actually, I am quite impressed. There's quite a few really good stocks to have in the list here. Now, before I go, I do just want to mention one thing, though. Ron was going to come on here today and talk about generating consistent income out of options, right? Options, it can be intimidating at first. I know a lot of you may trade options. Some of you may be scared to death of options, right? Well, here is a free guide. You can download it today, points you in the right direction when it comes to, option strategies. You can see the title here, 5 Simple Ways to Take Options Out of Options. Great book as well. Ron will be having his webcast here. Joey, was that in 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
2 weeks for the income, the monthly income. So if you're...
I'll try to get him back on, but have him download that strategy guide and
okay.
see if we can reschedule Ron.
Yeah, Joey said we're going to see if we can reschedule Ron. But if not, like I said, if you have any interest in options, this material is free here. He's been doing this probably longer than I've been alive, if I had to guess. But yeah, just go to this link here, VectorVest.com / I guess put this in the...
It's in the chat already.
Oh, you did put it in the chat? All right, perfect. So, yep, I do see it there in the chat. So, yeah, definitely go check that out. Again, it's another tool you can put in your belt. I pretty much only trade options. So, again, I see the value in learning options. This is a great free way to get into that opportunity if you haven't done so already. All right, everybody, enjoy your afternoon. Have a great and wonderful Thursday. Everybody, we will, we are doing tomorrow. That's right. It's next Friday. So I'll see you tomorrow. Mobile stream, 12 o'clock. Take care. Bye.